So today I'm hopefully going to change your mind about Lotus, and to set this video up, let's first take a look at this clip from Sideshow.
Yeah, KO instead of Sky, playing solo KO Initiator on this map is bonkers. Not having the dog and not having the, flashes that you can put into a lot of nice positions and get info from, it just is a straight up downgrade.
What is it? Is it a straight up downgrade? Do you need that information that a Sky or a Fade gives you over a KO? Most people would probably say yes, but I'm here to challenge that. But to do so, initially we're going to focus on the defensive side here. I'm actually going to come to a completely different game. EG versus PaperX in the grand final of champs, just to prove to you that this happens at the very highest levels of the game. This is our round that we are looking at. We've got a little kind of trap play set up here from PaperX, and we've just got Devi alone on A. And first off, let's just watch PaperX run this kind of trap play where they're going to find the first kill in this round from doing so, right? We're going to flash out, we're going to nade out, 4 seconds going to swing. He's going to find the first kill there on Jorgamo, and there we go, they get the first kill. But now let's take a look at Devi, who again is alone on A, because he's about to flash out here in just a second with his first flash of the round. But we're going to see that that flash doesn't actually catch on to anyone, right? So it comes out here, we can see obviously that isn't going to catch on to anyone. But keep your eye on Jing, because Jing is going to rotate towards A. And this is my first point, that flash that we just saw towards A didn't catch anyone. But Jing is rotating towards A anyway, and that's the first point that I want to make here. The information that we just got told us no one was there, but we're rotating towards that part of the map anyway. Why are we doing that? Well, the thing is, this flash that comes out here, or really any kind of flash that comes out here, there's still a lot of places that they could be that it's not going to catch them, right? They could be anywhere behind rubble. They might, it might not quite catch someone tucked in there. It probably won't catch anyone back here, or maybe they're just about to come to A anyway, right? Like EG actually were in this example. And then you've got the Viper wall as well, where maybe they're just on the other side of the Viper wall or the orb, and so it doesn't quite catch them either, right? It doesn't actually tell us that no one is there, right? So we flashed, it didn't see anyone, but really, whether this flash caught someone or didn't, our reaction was probably going to be the same. Then we bring out the Skydog, right? And again, let's take a look at where we are on the map right now, right? We've got 2 players on B. We got kind of 2 players shading towards A, and just someone, Monyet alone, Mindfreak alone towards C, and the dog comes out, right? And the dog, I don't think that this sees Boostio here. And the reason is that Devi is about to flash in just a second anyway again. So I'm going to guess that it didn't see him out here. But honestly, again, it doesn't matter, because no one on PaperX is going to move. And the thing is, whether they did see Boostio here or they didn't see Boostio here, I don't think that they were going to move either way, right? And that's the crucial point, that we send this dog out here, but no one moves, right? We then flash out here, and this one does catch on to Boostio, just here, that Sky Flash. But again, no one moves, right? The information, we just used all of our Sky abilities there to gain information of what was going on towards A, and it didn't matter at all. It had no impact on what we were doing as a defensive team. We did nothing with that information that we gained. And that is the fundamental truth of how this map works when your Sky is over towards A. Because this area, for one, as we pointed out, there's a lot of places where your information might be incorrect. But the thing is as well, even if you get information that people are out here towards A, as soon as you've lost this control, it's not going to matter for your rotations. It's not going to change anything you do, because they could still come towards A, they could still come towards B anyway, so everyone on B and A is going to be held in position. Everyone's going to stay there because they have the choice of which way they want to go, and their rotation time between these is shorter than yours. So you're always going to stay there. Really, the only rotation you're ever going to see is if you have 2 players towards C, someone might drift across like this over towards B instead, but really that's all you're going to get. But now let's come to a round of FUT versus Vitality, where we're going to see again the Sky utility on defense doesn't really give us the information that we need.
A lot of Vitality supporters the previous map not being able to get a second one in a row. But then they've been able to show that they can replicate those streaks, that they can replicate leading into FUT.
And they're going to attempt to do it just now, because Vitality still playing fairly close to the street position, this time with the Odin though on Destrian to at least perturb these faster rotations which FUT have been going for.
Runner. Trade. Still. The kill drift was raised. So when it does come up to holding up the site, Georgia would have been perhaps a little bit more effective.
Very deeply, pedestrian. Just trying to be loud, obnoxious, try and push FUT away, try and push them onto another site, and it seems to have worked. FUT, they set their gaze back to Mount now, where they're going to be running into safe setup, but it's sort of 35 seconds left before they execute. Safe is actually in an admirable spot to stop this.
Yes, Safe is running away, not anymore though. The captain has crept through. The captain has crept through. It seems like they might be wary of it, but Safe is no more. And now the captain can play into the B site. Was he even going to spawn? Vitality, no. They surely know. You can see that all the players are...
And so FUT there are going to manage to win that post-plant scenario. It's not really what we're interested in for this video. What we're interested in is the start of the round and the information that the Sky is not giving us, right? And it starts off actually getting suppressed by the KO, funnily enough, so that the Sky Flash doesn't even actually go off, right? So we don't even get that initial information, but Kix now is actually going to start jump peeking. And that's actually the information that they get is from this jump peek rather than any of the Sky util that actually gives them, you know, something to do, right? And again, the point is here that the Sky util isn't going to actually lead to an action from our team. This time the jump peek does, because it brings Runner across. Now Runner is going to take this fight and get traded, which actually leaves Vitality in a bit of a bad spot because of what FUT do next, which is kind of genius. But what we're going to see here is then the Skydog comes out, right? And again, the Skydog is going to see people out towards A, but that doesn't really tell us anything, right? That doesn't really make us move or anything like that. And then we're going to Sky Flash out here in a second as well. And again, that's not really going to matter either to what happens next, right? Because again, if this Sky Flash hits them, doesn't hit them, we probably aren't moving either way, right? Because again, there's so many different positions they could be that maybe they avoided that flash, right? And the thing is, what's about to happen next, though, is FUT are going to come up with a really nice plan. They KO knife this. They're going to send a smoke in here towards A as well in just a second. And the thing is, they know that this guy has rotated probably from C towards B, meaning that this guy is alone on C. And here's the other thing that is crucial about this as well, that you know that this Killjoy setup is often towards C, so this Killjoy is going to be passive here, which means that this space is often going to be free for the taking, right? So FUT are really clever here, and that they've been hit by all this Sky util. They're now going to fake as if they're coming towards A, and then just go towards C instead, right? Knowing that it's probably free and clear. And the thing is, if we watch this play through, right? After Captain is going to get seen here on B by Sender, look what Sender does next, right? He mollies this, because he thinks that they're doing, like, he thinks at that point they must be doing a B split as the smoke comes in here. And, you know, we've seen this guy here. He thinks, well, this must be a B split, right? He couldn't be more wrong. Right, and this is really the point, again, that just the way that if you are playing against a smart team and they know how this map works, and again, FUT are thunder stomping it over towards C, and, you know, Safe rotates away and actually gives them a free sight, essentially, right? And that's the crucial point here. That information that we got from the Sky doesn't really tell you much with the tendencies, the way that this map is played, often with that Killjoy towards C or Viper towards C playing pretty passive. You don't have great information out towards that part of the map. It just doesn't lend itself often to finding good information that we can then use to actually get us into a good position to win the round, particularly if you're playing against a team who can come up with some good plans like FUT, who know what they're doing. And so then we come to the kind of other side of the defense side on Lotus, which is going for big team fights, right? You will see that a lot. But again, if we compare KO to Sky in that kind of instance, I would probably say that KO is going to be a better agent for those big team fights because you can suppress people, and that's going to be a very big advantage when you get into those situations like this.
Just you wait, I think that's saying. Seen it. Oh, he took that round personally and he wants to turn it all around.
Spike down A.
And now let's come to the attack side as well, because again, you will see a lot of people in the Valorant community, a lot of pro players will believe that you need some sort of drone on pretty much every map, right? Be that a Skydog, a Prowler, or a Silver drone. You just need it to be able to re-clear areas that you maybe have left behind earlier in the round. But again, on Lotus, I think that isn't quite as true as it is on other maps for a couple of reasons. And the first reason for this is actually quite simple, that when you take one area of the map on Lotus, as opposed to pretty much every other map in the game, you have a choice of two sites of where you want to go to, right? If we take A, we can go to A or B. Right, if we come out and take towards C instead, we can go towards C or B, quicker than the defenders can get there. So basically, we have two options no matter which side of the map we go to first. We always have multiple options at our disposal. And the second thing about this is, even if you do want to go and re-clear an area, the defenders will often tell you where they are going very, very clearly if they are being aggressive at any point in the map. You will often see this, right? Where if we're FUT here, we've seen a nade, a flash, and the Omen jump peek. That's 3 people. We know 3 people are there. We know that if we want to come back here, which they will do later in this round, that's the area we need to re-clear, right? That's the area of the map we need to be somewhat cautious of, right? And the thing is, because you often get this Viper and Killjoy passive setup on C, like we do here, right? It means that you can often tell what's going on in this map as the attackers. It often becomes quite easy to read what a lot of the defending teams are doing, right? So for instance, FUT here, they are going to come back to A. And yes, they don't have a dog. They don't have a drone of any kind to really re-clear stuff, but they're just going to use their KO knife in a way which, you know, kind of does most of the job for them anyway of figuring out whether anyone is close, right? So there, corrects, he goes, he throws this knife, and this knife is good enough. You know, it got up to rubble. It doesn't see anyone. They know that no one is towards rubble. Obviously, it's not perfect because someone could be in tree, and that might make you think that someone is rubble, right? So it's not a perfect solution by any means, but in this instance, it works well enough. And as I said, defenders are going to tell you very clearly, like, oh yeah, there's a ton of utility here. That means that someone could be pushed up on this part of the map. And so this video was not really pointing out that Skye and Fade are bad on this map, just that some of the strengths that they give might not be as important on Lotus with the way that it is played. Now here's the thing, if you do play a droneless comp, you can be exploited, and against the very best teams, if you kept doing this without a drone, you probably would begin to be exploited in some ways by those teams. The thing is though, for a lot of teams right now, and particularly if you just bring it out as a surprise pick, there is no way that they will know how to adapt in the moment, in that game, at the time. And so you can definitely just get away with it now and just really have the benefits of having that KO, which I think are pretty significant.